Once again, thank him for this opportunity. You are counted to be among the music directors, choir members, choir leadership, to be part of this. Thank him for this opportunity. It's like a once in a lifetime, once in many years opportunity. Some of you have received answers today or yesterday that you've been asking for. So thank him once again for this opportunity. Because God has come to your rescue. This workshop is an answer to prayer. God saw you in your need and he has rescued you. So thank him once again. And thank him once again for the vessel he has been using to bless us since yesterday, to instruct us and inspire us since yesterday. If you wanted to pay him, it would be in hundreds of thousands. If you want to pay him, it would cost you a lot. We all know. If you want to pay for a cause, if this was something you had to pay for, we all know how much you can pay. So thank you. Amen. 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 So with Jesus' joy, once again, I'd like us to put our hands together.
Sit down. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much. I'm sure we had some refreshing moment. My doctor actually said that after 2 hours or thereabout, I should allow the people to walk around so that the blood would circulate properly, not give them problems. So the break was necessary. So here we go. The practice is for 6 o'clock, for 5 o'clock, for 8 o'clock. You want people to come on time, start on time, and close on time. So you, that is choir director, be the chief timekeeper. That's why you have to do good plotting. I started something on that. Plot the work you want to do for the day so that you can start on time and close on time. Last time I mentioned that the choir can be singing when they just suddenly hear me say, shall we bow our hearts, share the grace. Initially, it was a problem, but they didn't know what I was working for. I was working to build in them a conscious management of time, so that when I needed extra time, because we have need of it, and I asked them, how many minutes extra can you people give me? They will say 30 minutes. Some will say 1 hour. They are willing to give that time. Why? You have worked hard to prove that you don't abuse their time. So prove to them that time is valuable, and especially now, time is valuable. So start on time. That's why you should be there on time before anybody else. Dust the chairs, get things ready. Choir director, don't think that it is anything for you to come in early and dust the chairs and make the place ready. It's coming. You are called to serve the people. So serve them. Get the place ready for your rehearsal, depending on the environment where you are. Once they come in, stick to your plan. 5 minutes. Sister Nkechi, please lead us in prayers. You next, stick to it. And you get to the body of introducing a new song. And I've said that before. Want to introduce a new song, you've already analyzed the song that you know the critical areas. Then everybody goes on in our days. You can listen. It was footballers who bought our first radio system for us, footballers on the field. Because we used to have a rehearsal that attracts the footballers. They will come and listen. So when we needed the radio, it was the footballers that donated the first money, because they used to see what happens there. So everybody listens to the work. Your days are better. Send the lyrics ahead of time. It's on the platform. Everybody is listening. At least 40% of your choristers are listening to the work you sent. Up till today, there are people you send the song to. They never listen anything. So don't break your head over it. As long as this camp remains, Judas must be there. They make the community complete. You're laughing. There are some sicknesses God refuses to heal. He told Paul he will not heal him. Instead, he will just take another cup of grace and pour inside the one he already has. But to heal him, forget about it. Just stop coming here. I hope you understand that language. Stop coming here to ask for that thing. Take some grace. Go. It will not kill you, because there is a reason for it. And I believe that part of the reason is so that Paul can always remember that he is human. Because he was one that was being worshipped. So, I mean, if God allows him to have everything like that, to turn to something else. So some of these stone heads in your choir, God permitted them to be there to keep you walking. So don't get mad at them. Have you scored the song? Have you? No problems. These other 40% that are walking, put more energy, because once they start singing, you know, this thing is called choir. You know what choir is? A mass of voices. And sometimes, if you are very careful, you will notice that without teaching them the parts, you will have more than up to 8 or 9 parts. and the whole thing works well. So, cool temper. You need a lot of patience to be a choir director. Because slow learners are there. All that. So you need a lot of patience. I think my work with St. Matthew taught me, because I stayed with them for about 3 years, taught me a whole lot of things. And the current set of musicians in St. Matthew, some of them were those who at the time of my training appeared like they were not going to be any productive, but they are. Some of the people that you think they are not learning, they are learning. It's just that the time has not come for them. Okay? There are different shades, so you need to understand that. So because you have analyzed the work, you know where the difficulty is going to be. The chorus, everybody listens, sings along 1, 2, 3 times. Go to that particular section, work on it. Once you are done with it, a song for next week or next 2 weeks, depending on your setting. Yesterday we mentioned some things like that. Some of you are working only once in a week. One Saturday rehearsal, next Sunday. So you are forced to learn a song today and sing it today. But sometimes we know that it's not really that as effective as having an opportunity. But again, that makeup time is why you are sending the song on the WhatsApp. Ignore those who will not listen to it. But concentrate on those who are doing the good work and work with them. Maximize your part singers. How many of us are part singers? Some of us give them part singers so that we'll keep them busy, but we're not really using them well. Okay. Does your choir break up to learn their part? Yeah. Maximize the part singers. As a matter of fact, choir director, have session with your part singers ahead of time. So you can deal with, because the moment the four of you can sing and everybody maintains his part, it's very easy. Let them stand in the midst of their parts and then sing. Sometimes it's not so much as sing after me, sing. No, just keep singing. They will hear. All right? You just keep singing. Remember I said reduce the talking time. Next time you go to your choir practice, you try. Try and check the talking time. Anytime choir master stop and talk, check how many minutes. Write it down like that. When you finish, summarize it. Show it to him. Choir master, today you used 20 minutes to talk. He said, no. He said, see how it went. Right? So maximize the parts leaders. Let them do the work. So that you will not be teaching song and then on Sunday you don't have voice to sing. Some of us don't have voices for that kind of work. Our voices are very good, but they are not good enough to stand stress. Some of you, if you don't sleep this night, without shouting, next morning your voice is cracked. Right? Yeah, I know that there'll be, because we are large, I know that 1, 2, 3 persons will always come up in that category. And if you know your voice texture, you don't expose it to do certain things. I always tell you what Dr. Panam says whenever we meet together and we have to teach. We tell them to turn on the volume for him. And sometimes we just say that I'm not Frank. Please, can you give me volume? But meanwhile, I wish my voice could be his own, right? I wish we could exchange. But there is something about his voice different from mine. And that's what voice study exposes you to, so that you're able to know the capability or the capacity of your voice, what it can do. So once the part leaders can do their work very well, the whole choir is ready to sing. Be sure that the musicians have also had a moment to do their work. So that when you ask the choir to sing, it will not be because of the musicians. You are stopping and starting and stopping and starting. So let the same principle run. That's why the all night is good. One all night. After that, musicians can come in 1 hour earlier to deal with the particular song you want to do. Depends on what musicians you have, hirelings or children of the house. It all depends. Yeah, if you do that, then the choir is good to go. And you can have a memorable time of rehearsal. Please don't bore them by asking them to repeat 20 times. Let's start. Go back to the beginning. 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 The more you are doing that, after a while, they are dropping. They are dropping. Interest is dropping. In fact, sometimes before you know, somebody flare up. And I told the keke driver that he's not playing the right music at the right time. He asked me how. I say your brain waves respond to the music that you are playing and therefore could produce positive or negative result. I asked him, have you seen the radio system where the meter is reading as the music plays? He said, yes. I said, whenever the music is playing, that's how your brain is jumping up and down, responding to the music. Therefore, if the rapidity is excessive, just like you suddenly tell somebody, turn down, the volume is too high, it's a response, right? In that same way, the music you are listening can make you angry. You are not aware that that is what is happening, but that's what's happening. And so sometimes those who come from work into the rehearsal, mama that did not sleep well because the daughter had malaria in the night, comes into the rehearsal. Just take a typical look of the different people that have come together in that rehearsal. All of them are not coming at the same frequency. So when you start that off and on, it is a problem to somebody. When the drum begins to, it's a problem to somebody. Just put all of that together to find your moderation. In our field, we understand that I can keep you in this place and play a certain kind of music up to 5 to 6 hours and open this door and everybody starts fighting. We know how it works. We understand that that's the power of music, that we can achieve it. Okay, so when you are doing all the stop, start, repeat again, be cautious of the fact that that same thing you are doing in your mind to achieve perfection is working negatively for another person. Is that okay? All right. Please, Mr. Perfectionist, Rome was not built in a day. The wise man has told us. And sometimes that's why we overflock the rehearsal. And once the person is, no, something like this, you can't sing. You're already getting angry yourself. And once you get angry, you're going to get many things wrong. So be conscious of this, so that you know that, okay, I think we've given a reasonable time to this. Can we move on to something else? All right. Okay. Yeah. I think at this point, we can do this song like this. The next time we're going to improve on it. All right. And that's why you must understand that sometimes you prepare so very well, and God is looking at you after you have prepared so very well. That Sunday morning, as you wanted to start that your perfect song, NEPA took light. You're right. And one thing or the other just disorganizes you, and then that your perfect song, you're because something else. So, dear, understand that some people are coming up gradually. That's why you must explore opportunities of exposing them to facilitate their growth within the system. Next, understand the quality of voices you have in your choir. What kind of sopranos do you have in your choir? I'm not just talking about range, I'm talking of voice type now. What kind of sopranos do you have? Sometimes we mistakenly pick up songs and think that it is the singers that are the problem. No, we are placing a wrong song in front of them. You change key almost 3 or 5 times. Still didn't work. Who has been there? Let's try key C. Okay, let's go to key D. Let's go to key Q. And you just keep moving around left and right. No. Understand that there are voice types and the ranges within the choir. That thing you listened to. Some of those things you listen to studio work. And don't use auto-tune, tune them up. Who's a producer? Nobody else. Yeah. You know what I talk now? And then don't use machine. After that, we pitch it up. And then, so no just kill yourself for waiting and do for studio. Whilst we are committed to growing, we should also be sure that we're not trying to grow after a machine. If this was a video session, I would have played voices here for you that you will ask, is it human being that is singing or machine? And then you hear such a song and then get crazy with it and carry it to your choir. And the people in your choir can sing castratos, songs that a castrato will solo. Don't bring it and come and kill the soprano in your choir. You tear people's voices. Let them grow at their pace. That's what exercises help us to do. Same way people we are tearing their, stretching their neck because of Fred Hammond. So I didn't call anybody's name. Don't shake the table. Okay. What instruments do you have? Okay, I got some of these bottles. Have they carried them away? Let's Give me those ones. Let's do a quick experiment. Yes, empty ones. Yes, because I got water here. Are these supposed to be the same size? Okay, you can. Look, I saw somebody carrying that thing. Yes, the same size, the same type, better. If you have emptied your own, give me, yes. Do I have another one of this one? Good. All right, that's enough. We'll probably, yes. This is another shape. So let's see what we're going to do here. This one has a content. Can I pour it somewhere? Just pour it, empty it out. Okay. Pour it out. Yeah, I'll use this one. Okay, thank you. My bag. You? In this tools bag, there is one thing that doesn't go out. It's always there. And I know it is there. This is a pitch pipe. A veritable instrument for, is that good English? Yes, for ear training, for oral culturing. When you hear people in your choir that when you say do, you say do, say do, say do. Right. Technically, they don't have bad voice. We can go around the whole of Port Harcourt and not find one bad voice. However, we have plenty of bad ears. This is what used to be mistaken for bad voice, because the individual cannot hear his pitches correctly and sound them. So with a pitch pipe of this type, you could, if I ask some of you whether you know your pitch, I'm sure you will also have problem answering it. So with this kind of pitch pipe, you can actually master one pitch. All that is necessary for you to master is one pitch. Because that particular pitch is in relationship with the rest of the pitches. So if you can master one, great asset. It is the reason I walk into the guitar shop at the Elabuchi and tune a guitar correctly by singing a particular song. I can tell you the key that I am. Okay? This can make you hear this siren and know what key it is. Your car. You know, those who drive car can hear the sound of their engine, that the slightest change. They are telling you that they are hearing a sound. You are. You want to hear it and you can't hear it. Because they daily drive that car, they have the mastery of the sound. However, they may not know what pitch that is. So the a cappellas will use this, that they are on stage modulating and transposing without any problems, because they use it constantly to practice and culture their ear. All right, so we're going to find the key of these bottles. That's the first thing we're going to do. This is Z, that is, it's G sharp, okay? And with this one bottle in your house, you already have a keyboard. Because every time you come to the rehearsal and you ask the choir director, what is the key of the song? You know, you went back home zealously practicing, but perfecting a wrong key. That's why on Sunday morning, when they now play the intro, your memory can't connect with it, because what we are doing throughout the night and all that was not on the same pitch. Is that understood? So By being able to sing your scale, no, you can find any related key. So if this is G sharp, Re will be A sharp. That's why you need, when I said you need to have a rudimentary knowledge of music, this is where we are going. With that basic knowledge, you can know the exact key you are looking for. And if you were to cross it in between two notes, it's about either fi, fa, mi, mo, and you translate it to, and then you have the key. And you will practice that song on the same pitch that the keyboard is played throughout, that when you come the next day and they strike the keyboard, it's already there. Have I said something? All right, that's on the one side. But now the textures of these bottles are different. So two of you may have the same length of tube, but if your textures are different, your pitch production will be different. So you're trying to sing soprano, all 12 persons. You give them a song on a particular key, and then you begin to hear an argument. It's too low, it's too high, it's okay. This is the issue. Length of the tube, texture of the tube, and size of the tube. That determines the differences between the voices. Though all of them are soprano, and of course the four common sopranos, soprano, spinto soprano, lyrical soprano, dramatic, and mezzo soprano. All right, we also have coloratura, but very rare. But fine, within the four classes, all of them are going to sing together. So you need to be able to find the key that is suitable for these different textures. This is why this is why you are moving from one key to another and almost try 4, 5 keys and you are not getting it right. Just this. And then some of us make the mistake that when they say C is too high, we now go to D. D is not part of C. So that circle of fifth, you know the circle of fifth? For the rest of you, just here, anytime you hear it again, say, one man said it. That circle of fifth in the relative minor and major is the process you should use. Because that thing they said that was high in C, they may sing it very well in F. And guess what they are doing? They are using C. Because F is a major in C, and C is a major in F. So within the boundaries of those two. Okay, you will be able to find, so don't move to D. D is totally out. D is a ninth. It's a minor, it's a ninth in the progression, yes, of C. So it's far away. If you play the C and they say it's high, go to F, go to G, then head on for A minor. Check the A. You may just have it fixed. Is that okay? Because all of them will be using the same elements, or the same components. Now, this is another bottle. This one is producing almost the same sound with this. But which one is bigger? 50 cl. Okay, they are all 50 cl. Good. Now, this shape and structure is in some of our voices and could alter our pitches. You have to listen carefully to know that they are not exactly the same. And it's just this change of structure. Then, to just help you have a full keyboard in your room, And just arrange this. Do, re, right? So with each successive bottle and a drop of water to make it shorter, you get the next pitch. Now the difference between these two bottles is that this bottle is longer than this because the water has reduced the length of this bottle. The texture is the same. The size here is the same. So that's what's happening on the soprano, right? One person's tube here is shorter. So this person is pitching. Now, so when they give you a song that someone has done, and choir director is so excited that, oh, this song is wonderful. And when they put it in your hand and you sing it, and you are struggling to finish the song, don't tear your voice. It will take some exercise and time for you to get there. Recommend someone else that you know is better. Remember that we're not doing show here or competition, right? So I think that would be better with this song. That song that he gave to us, I think you can do it better. Suits your voice very well. Encourage the person to take the challenge and do it rather than tear your voice for it. Some of us, by the time we'll be 60, 70, we may not be able to sing properly because of the too much abuse. 7 days, all night. You go to the all night, no water, no nothing. All right, so assess the voices within your choir before you give them a walk. Even think of the size in terms of number. Don't take a walk of Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir and come and give it to 15 people to do. If you are not careful, you will think that it is the people. It's not them. That song is backed up with voices. Number plays its own role. Okay, number plays its own role. And was any of you part of the River State Mass Choir that hosted Ron Kenoli and Dr. Panam for a live recording? Ooh. It's a different generation. Okay, yeah. Choir was over 500 persons. Right? I think they were a little above 500. And then the orchestra. The orchestra was actually anchored by H2H. So they were in a good number. When you are singing in such a large choir, you need less energy because voices are pouring out and backing. That's not to give excuse for those who, even when you put the microphone in front of them, you can't hear them. Because last Sunday I had that issue. Okay, the microphone is in front of them, but you can't hear them. And sometimes they think that the instruments were too high. No, the singers were not projecting. There's a difference between vocal projection and shouting. 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 There is a difference between vocal projection and shouting. At this time, the other person in the other room should be able to hear me. I don't have to scream to say that. All right? So maybe part of my recommendation in your exercises vibrato and resonant practice, to help push the voice forward. So that, because sometimes when you tell them to sing out, the next thing you hear is you're wondering where that is coming from. But just an understanding of that. All right. Always close your choir practice on a note, on a worship note or a worship mode, to leave the people reminiscing and singing that song as they go. Try to tidy up your rehearsal with in such a high spirit that as the people are going, they are still singing the song. Still singing the song. I like to also add that you are the chief musician and therefore you are licensed to rearrange your parts if you want to. Again, it has to do with the voice. If I go to Nkechi International Church Choir and they have very high lyric sopranos, my choir doesn't have, then I don't bring that soprano for my soprano to sing. I can ask tenor to sing it. And all three parts will still be complete. It's just a switch. Sometimes we cause unnecessary strain because of that. Two people decide what happens, the composer and the arranger. And in this case, you have become the arranger. Arrange the song to suit the number in your choir as well as the voices that you have. The song will be complete and the Spirit of God will still move, rather than tear the young voices that have joined you. Anybody that is not up to 27 has not made a full discovery of his voice among the female. Did you hear that? Voice break and maturation. Most people at 27, ladies, have not gone through it. It is the last thing for ladies, first thing for men. Voice maturation for male begins. Is the first thing. That's why a person wakes up in the morning and daddy, good morning, hears himself and run away. First thing. Is that this? My boy is maturing. But the young man has run away. He didn't know. He couldn't believe the sound that came out from him. But for the ladies, she'll be with the boy voice till sometimes 20 because of differences in body chemistry. All right. Before now, you will say 15. That's puberty age, right? Now you don't say that. 10 puberty, 11 puberty, 12 puberty, because of all the fertilizers we are eating. So, but for a female, when I have to take a female, you have to give me all of that information. My clinical session requires that you give me information to work with. So I won't be pushing you, because some people come and all they needed is performance techniques, not voice training. So I place them on performance techniques, place them on how to handle their stage, carry their audience along and do all of that. And I tell them, I am not sure the voice you have, whether this is it or we wait for another. And there are simple signs to tell. One thing you cannot miss is that when the voice begins to move, it will become most inconsistent. Very good in the morning, collapse in the afternoon, sounds fine in the evening, like that. And this is where I always stop and say that I've had pastors say that the sister has committed sin, so the Holy Spirit has left her. And I will not forget that. I will never forget that experience. But sometimes that's the price we pay for ignorance. So you discourage the person and the person left the choir. Dr. Kukulbo said she never sang because they told her voice was not good. Different things. I used to hear stories. But please, if you are a female and you're not up to 27, or you've not passed through this kind of experiences where they gave you a song in the choir and you sang very well, then you came back on Sunday morning, they played intro 3 times. You couldn't enter the song because your voice couldn't carry it. Right? It's not because you committed sin. No, there's a biological process. Normal. It's part of life. going on, and the voice is swinging like a pendulum, looking for a bearing. And we always say it is general for females for their voice to move upward. That's why that's where you were singing 15, when you were 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. We expect a change if you are not abusing your voice. Unfortunately, for me, part of what is happening is that at those teen ages, most of these people already abuse the voice. So that instead of moving up, it either stays in the same place or goes downward. And some of them even end up with papillomas, pulps, korokoro on the voice. So somebody is telling you that her voice sounds metallic and she doesn't even know what she's talking about. The voice is sounding like a piece of zinc. And she doesn't know what she just had somebody say metallic voice. The truth is that your voice has gone through stress and has developed some issues that it's no longer smooth. The vibrating surface is no longer smooth. That's why you're sounding like that. Hey, that thing they are saying metallic is not the same thing that happens to you when you have cough. Because the mucosal membrane, oh, that's another chapter. Who did the microbiology? Because the mucus, the membrane has ruptured and the mucus is blocking, right? You're clearing your throat, which is another problem again, endlessly. When you come to my class, I can talk to you like this as we're talking till the next 3-4 days without clearing throat. Very simple. Swallow your saliva after you have taken a deep breath and out, and stop the clearing your throat. But if that doesn't do, then sip a little water. Then instead of, because when you clear the throat the way you were taught that primary school, then you make these muscles, remember that the vocal cord is just a muscle. You make these muscles rub against each other forcefully. So there is this reddish and inflamed posture, which will make you to be clearing the voice again and again. And for goodness sake, I know you are not a Obasanjo's son, so you don't need to be clearing your throat like that. I've just traded something for you. All right, so if you're not 27 yet, be mindful how you use your voice. I know you are the best singer in the choir. Pastor say you must sing every day. And when you damage that voice, pastor will get another singer. A new singer will emerge. In fact, they are already waiting for you. So please take care of your voice. And one of the most natural, is it voice class I'm doing? Yes, sir. And one of the most natural cure for your voice is sleep. Everybody says sleep. Sleep is such a medicine that if you take a nap for 2 hours and you wake up, your voice is restored. So sleep is one of the most natural ways of bringing healing to your voice. And we say at such times when you know you're under pressure, take more fruits, more liquids, and all that, so that you don't dehydrate, which is another side of the story. And then ensure that you have a bottle of water around you. You just sip. Just ensure that you are lubricated effectively. All right? I didn't know I veered into that place. The rehearsal matter. So somebody will come in the morning and then in the evening come and give you one excuse. All right, ladies have their own peculiar challenges. Remember that? When their friends come, they may not be able to sing as good as they used to sing. So don't get angry. Don't misunderstand that to be pride. Don't misunderstand that to be pride. And all of us, this is why all of us need to be knowledgeable. For me, I just walk up to, are you okay? Not feeling. Your friends, sit at the back. That takes care of it. So you don't, they're all different. Ladies, I'm not discussing you.
Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So I will do that because they're all different as you see them. Some people go through it without too much stress. Others are not that fortunate. But that lady manages to come under that pain because she loves the Lord. So you don't worsen a case. That's why you need to be knowledgeable. And that's why you know everybody in your choir. Yeah. So you just, okay. Well, when they come, they give me a sign. And they will stay there and rehearse with us and all that. But you see, I will not come to them and say, because I know that at such a time, the person is not psychologically prepared for it. It's very important. What more did I want to say? Which other thing in this rehearsal matter? I think they should use question and we'll answer the other ones. Yes.
You already mentioned them, but just like it to, like yesterday, you talked about the rehearsal schedule.
Yes.
And then you put 40 minutes to work on the song for the day. And I know that for a lot of us, it's not easy. So I wanted to give us tips on how to make to maximize the rehearsal time. In terms of tips on maximizing rehearsal time so that we waste as little time as
Yeah. Remember that when I did that, I'd already told you that you had worked on a new song, meaning that this particular one you want to use for Sunday. Last week, it had been worked on for about 20 minutes. So the music is formed. And what I do is I concentrate on the music because once the music is formed, if you give the people the words, they will sing it. Okay, so I work more on getting the music formed. So if you have been able to do that, but if it's a one rehearsal per week session, you obviously need more time. And I said, in that case, of course, if you work with your part leaders, you have solved some part of the problem. Then I said, analyze this music. Where is the technical challenge in this music? I hope that makes sense. In what, if it's an orchestra, for instance, I will be looking for what is the most difficult chord. Because there are some chords that some instruments cannot play. So I need to understand where those kind of chords may be found in this music. There's what we call the devil's musica. So you don't get there, right? Are you here? You know, if you are a teacher, there is a time when the student looks at you so seriously, but he's thinking of something else. And sometimes they do that so that you don't ask them question. Where are my colleagues here? All right. So I wanted to be sure that it was real. So then if you have been able to map out that area that is technical in this song, and I'm speaking like we used to do those kind of songs, because now what you do is Mercie Chinwo songs and this other, most of the songs you do now don't have challenge. And that is why the solo culture is dying. Dying. How many of you have listened to the works of Sandy Party? Then Sings My Soul. Huh? That one alone. Your choir practice it for probably 1 month. You are not still ready to present it. Because musicians were writing those songs, not singers. I just said something. Yeah. Musicians were writing those songs, not singers. When a musician writes, he has the advantage of chordal movements and progressions. So he can make a twist of a simple walk. How many of you know this song? Christ did it all. Ezekiel Walker. Hey, did you see the work of an arranger in that work? There is no plenty lyrics there. The law of repetition was used. Christ did it all. Christ did it. Now I am, but most of all, I have eternal life. And that's all the song. But an arranger, in our country, song written by Nicholas, arranged by Nicholas, soloed by Nicholas, bars by Nicholas, produced by Nicholas, marketed by Nicholas and Sons. We are so powerful. All right, but that's by the way. When you write the song, you give it to an arranger. He listens to this work that you are trying to bring out, and he tells you. I mean, we should ask Quincy Jones. How many of you know that name? Yeah. Quincy Jones. He's the one that arranged We Are the World. Yeah? That's one of the most popular arrangements. Quincy Jones himself is not such a great, wonderful singer, but Quincy Jones is very good in arranging. And he could listen to voices and know when voices are compatible. It's not like just calling Kiru and Ezewine to come and solo the song. You're not even thinking of the voice types and the colors that they will produce. You don't want the two of them. That's not. So when musicians write the song, you listen to the works that Coban does. That's a musician writing a song, not a singer writing a song. And you, away from the choruses, listen to some of the works that Dr. Panam does. That's a musician writing. They are different. Not to talk of the commercial musician. That what is important to him now is that we can dance. Once he can groove, let's go. But again, I want to ask us to come back to the solo culture. That's when the choir talks to the congregation. Minister to the needs of people. There's so much for us to do. Because as I'm just saying that now, I'm now remembering that I've not talked about how your song cuts across board. So when you listen to works, please take down the names. Songs like someone like Sandy Party. For all the ladies, please look for her works, plenty of her works, and bring them down. Download them. Thank God for YouTube. Download the songs. For the mere sake that I'm talking about her, just bring the song down and listen. Wait till she sings herself. Just do like that. She hardly sings one song on one key and ends. She will transpose and modulate because she is a musician. If she sits on the keyboard to play, you will give her space. And because that's why I said it's compulsory for you to play one instrument. It is compulsory because it will bring you out of musical poverty. The person who plays the instrument hears a lot of things and likes to experiment them. So they move from this chord to that chord, and I don't like. Then he said, no, let me just make it a 7th or 13th. Then he plays it again. Like Dr. Panam will say, the wife is the first critic. When she listens to the work, she will then tell him, it's not Panamic. So he has to repeat. It's not Panamic, he has to repeat. So the musician has that advantage, and it puts him away from the ordinary songwriter. So let's go back to the solo work and produce great singers. Unfortunately, even when I watch what do they call that in Idol? Is it Idol? When I even watch the Idol these days, I'm not seeing what is so challenging. Not. I'm not a singer, but to be sincere with you, I'm not seeing that quality of challenge that used to be with such projects. Anybody here from Folabis Church? What's the name? They were here yesterday. One. Oh. Yes. They had, of course, I was the head of the auditioning team for that particular competition. And I knew the day that somebody asked me, where did you bring this kind of song? Let's do something that challenges us to grow. The other one is for praise and worship. We can follow it. But when it comes to real singing, let's do something that challenges us to grow. All right? And I said that by saying that you should understand the voices. And then she's asking how to manage that 40 minutes. If it is not a 2-sitting choir and it's a 1-sitting choir, remember you need more time. That's why I said if I was God, I would reject some of our songs on Sunday because it's a mediocre thing. We just horribly package it together and then push it out. But, he's merciful. But we ought to put in quality time, because if they tell you that the governor is going to come to your house, you are likely to paint your house. And if of course, if he's the president, you may have to buy a new bed. You go out of your way and you even borrow money. And if we're going to give God a meal, I think we should put some energy into it and give him something that David said, I will not give him that which will not cost me nothing. So it takes a little bit of our energy to do that. Let's take the second one there.
You also talked about somebody had said there's some people that no matter what you tell them to do, they are not willing or they are not. So sometimes I know one of the things that drag your head out are people that maybe they probably didn't do their homework before coming. Maybe you sent the song and they didn't score before coming, especially if there's a lot, and then you now start afresh. So you had mentioned motivating, finding a way to
motivate the people.
So I would like you to give us some suggestions how you can talk about the right tools for motivation.
Yeah.
So if you can give some suggestions of how we can motivate people to do the work.
Before I even give you that, before I even discuss that, please know that choir membership is not once in a lifetime automatic membership. If anybody is not growing in the choir, you still have the right. You still have the right to either send the person back to probation or let the person know that he's not measuring up. Did I say something? Yes. But don't use it because you don't like the sister's face. All right. Did you hear what I just said? That's why I said you have a personal assessment schedule for your choir so that you can know whether people are actually improving or not improving. Because if there is no exam, we will not know whether a student is progressing or not. So that personal evaluation is very important. And it also amounts to some of the things we do at the end of the year when I ask them to write on different topics, different issues around us and all that. So it's all part of it. But let's go back here that there is I made a statement yesterday, and I'm trying to make sure that I am not considering a slow learner to be someone who is unwilling to learn. The tendency is that you may think that the person is unwilling to learn, whereas the person is just but a slow learner. And I said, there are certain things you cannot work in the group. You have to single the person out and try to work with the person. Sometimes when you single the person out, you may discover that there is such a hunger and a desire for the person to do that thing, just that it is not given. It has to be learned. The one who is given will run faster than the one who has to learn it. Hello. I'm saying something and let me repeat it. Some of us, what we are carrying is given naturally. With a little scratch, it went aflame. Others have to learn it by going through a rigorous process. So I don't want us to mix the two set of people together so that we will not hit wrongly. Those who are not ready to learn, sometimes it's easy to spot them. Give them assignment, they will not do it. Give them assignment. Take this voice exercise. I want you to finish it next week, Monday. When we come back, I want to hear how well you are doing on it. They take the thing, put in their pocket, go home. A guy, right. The guy hung the guitar in his house and was telling all his friends that he is learning guitar, but he never brought the guitar down to even attempt what he was taught. He was just excited, telling people that he's learning guitar. Oh, but you get guitar. Oh, yes, oh, I'm learning guitar. But he never brought it down for a practice. How many of you have personal practice time? You don't have again. You have to look for your space. So, if this person is a slow learner, understand him, understand the psychology. Is he an introvert, extrovert? What kind of character is he? That will help you to find the most suitable. You are in a digital world. You can even decide to find out some things online on how to deal with this kind of person. But praise has done wonders for me. Neka was such a poor, man, am I speaking the right thing? Had such a poor control of voice. But it's Neka that I will tell, come and stand in front of the mic. Don't mind all these people. When they see you on CNN, they will go and call their mommy and daddy to come and watch you. Sing out, okay? Every time you come, don't mind. Don't mind all those things they are doing. Sing out. So Neka will come, she'll stand there, she'll sing. It's only me that know the work I have to do here, isn't it? Then I have to lower her voice. You people are not singing out. Sing out. You have to find techniques. Then eventually, Neka began to have control over her voice, stood before the church, took a solo, neat and clean. You have to be patient. But for the one that doesn't want to learn, I've told you, it's very easy to find out. Give them assignment, they will not do it. If you ask them to repeat something 3 times, they will frown. Then you already know this person is not ready to go. Their own, they show it. But the slow learner is not. In his heart, the thing is burning. It's just that, you know, person will want to help you. They sweet and to help you, but when he put time for pocket, the money no day. That's the kind of thing that happened to the slow learner. And that's why I was telling you of this team that is in St. Matthew, where this particular crop of people were very slow back then. So slow that even me, that with all the things I'm telling you, at a point I felt they may never come up doing it. But suddenly they are the crop of musicians. Some learning will take time. But once it sparks, it'll be there. What about the gifts that I talked about? Did somebody sing for the first time and the person sang, I mean, at least 70%? And wow, did you know what you did today? You blew the church. You blew the church. And then a little gift, a handkerchief, something, whatever. You are pouring, you're getting the person to be more interested. Because some of these people, they believe that they are not good enough. That's why you don't normally give them assignment. So that mindset is already there. They believe they are not good enough. So how do you want them to come up? No, you go to them, look for windows of opportunities. How about you going for a program? I want you to join. There is one program. I want you to join me. When they join you, listen, when ladies sit in front of the television and ladies, when ladies sit in front of the television and somebody is casting the news. They don't hear 60% of the news. They look at the fashion, what the person is putting on. That interests them. So in and out, they go out of the news to the dress, then they come in again and all that. And some people are like that. You will take them out to this particular concert. What you are expecting they should notice may not be what they will notice. They'll come back and say, hey, that's the other. She sang no. So you are deliberate on what you want to achieve. So you ask specific question. Now, next time when you are taking the person out, the person know that you are asking question. You'll be on a better watch out for. All right? And all those kind of invitation you give them to follow you to certain places. I asked somebody to follow me to government house. Only going to government house, commitment has started. Such opportunity. Yeah, so there are things that the person doesn't expect, but give the person that kind of opportunity to do it, and it becomes a big deal. We had an event, and I asked somebody, they said I was supposed to present an address, and I asked somebody to speak on my behalf. Since that day, I have become Papa. All right, because the person didn't think he's qualified. And then you mean? I said, no, you do that. And that's all. So remember, you must be people producers. People producers. That's what I said. Produce people. It takes some pains, takes some sacrifice. Sometimes you have to spend your money, to make sure that you achieve this thing. But what's your target? I cannot leave this choir the way I met it. That's your target. I don't want to leave this choir the way. There are some people that when they are going out of the church, the brethren will even hold special thanksgiving. But there are others that when they go out of the church will mourn. The difference is the impact that they have been able to make in that place. All right? So seek avenues. What about matching them together, like I said in the morning? 3 of you do this song, 3 of you will solo. 3 students did a song together. I asked them, this song, I don't know it will bring me the track. One of them said they have the track. They brought it. I listened to the song. I didn't really quite like the song. I didn't. But why did I allow them to do that song at their graduation? For the fact that they came out on their own to say they want to do something. I told the vice, put their name there. I was the one listening to them. I didn't quite, because when you give me a song, it's just like they were doing their dance. I came in one of the day and asked them, so what is the message this dance is sending across? The teacher said, it's just dance now. I said, that's where I have problem. Every dance sends a message across. In the field of art, if you can't say it, you can paint it. If you can't paint it, you can draw it. If you can't draw it, you can act it. If you can't act it, you can. So there must be a message behind this dance. That I don't want to expose these children dancing for the devil. Did I say something just now? Yeah. If some of the people in your choir ever come to you and say, I'm thinking like this, so can I do this? For the fact that they came out on their own, push them back. Find a way to fine-tune that thing. Give them an opportunity to do it. That's an encouragement. It builds their confidence, makes them believe that you have them at heart as well. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I'm sure we have.
From me.
Okay.
Okay, there are some people that are difficult. Like, it's like that. I don't know, but in some choirs and my dealings with music directors, I've received such complaints where you have people that it seems like it's their
nature.
It's like their goal to frustrate the music director.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, or their ministry to frustrate the music director. And sometimes there are people that have been in the choir maybe for 20 years.
Landlords.
Yeah.
Landlords.
So the music director says this, either they form cliques to counter or they openly, what's the word? They openly oppose. So how as a music director, sometimes you may even be younger than the person. So how do you handle such people, such difficult people, people that oppose, people that directly oppose your leadership? How do you? And yet it's obvious, yeah.
It is the anointing that makes the difference. Once you have known it, you will never be the same, for you can't live without it. Once it's rested upon you, it will show you how to walk in Jesus' name. You like that? Let me be very honest with you. Choir director, seek the oil. Go for the oil. It has a way of silencing this kind of people in your choir. Something they just can't resist. Something they just can't resist, the anointing. And when they do otherwise, the owner of the oil visits them small. They come back confessing. Has it happened? Yes. I've lived a few days and I have the privilege. They come back apologizing and confessing. So please, besides every other knowledge on how to develop a better interpersonal relationship, and you could do everything you know to do, some things won't work except the oil drops. And this thing is a spiritual thing. I said that in the morning. This is a house of God. That's why I always tell people, don't do anything until your pastor will say, if I be a man of God. I know it's a common statement now. They use it to threaten people, but that's okay. But if you have problem with any man of God and the man says, if this thing I am doing, God, if it is not of you, judge me. The man who says that thing is very convinced in his heart that God will fight for. I'm not talking of the one they are using to do show. I come from a very rugged environment. So I think sometimes I say things that may look like dark saying. Somebody can accuse you of something and ridicule you, mess you up. You try to explain the whole world and nobody listens. Say, God, you see my heart, you see my mind. And a month after, the person is brought to you in chains. The oil settles a lot of matters. Please, that's why your prayer life, your study life, and everything is very important. Good voice is good, though, but good voice is not the ministry. The ministry is backed by the anointing. And there is nobody that wants to come face to face with the anointing. No reasonable human being wants to do that. Remember to pray for this person that is doing this thing. Pray. Always pray for the person. And give the person the best of your smile to indicate the genuineness. You know the way this other northern group greet, when they shake hand with you, they bring it to their chest, right? To show you that their heart is free. They have nothing against you. Pray, and when you meet this person, give him a smile that proves that you are open towards the person. It's a matter of time. The person will be convinced and fall apart. Come and apologize. We have received apologies. It's painful. I must confess to you, it is painful. But the Bible says if we suffer with him, then we shall reign with him. We can never share in a glory that we don't know its pain. If they call me Beelzebub, then get ready for them to manufacture names for you. That's what he said. So pray for the person. Love the person. He said, do good to them that persecute you. Pray for the person. But your greatest undoing will be the day you make the person an enemy. You see why I'm announcing to everybody that I meet, anywhere I go, when I announce that I can never have one enemy till I live this life. Not one. I found the secret. And I realize it's also a waste of time. For you to be my enemy, you must have a better credential than Satan the devil. Or else you don't qualify. I've forgiven you before I met you. That's how we settle it. Make up your mind. This thing is a race. Oh. This thing is a race. And it's a tough race. Some people will drop out just one step. Have you seen somebody who fell in the inter-house sports just before the line? Learn lessons. Don't let somebody. What is inside this thing? If I open it and squeeze it, what will come out of it? Don't carry water and let somebody squeeze you, then oil is coming out from you. That's what I'm saying. You will soon swallow up that enemy. Just be you. Need this water? Press this bottle. Squeeze it. What will come out will water. It will not be kerosene. It will not be oil. It will not be crude oil. It will be water. What is your content? What do you carry? When you are milked and pressed, what should we expect to come out of you? Love. 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 Huh? Love. So somebody will see me and say, what are you still doing with this person? After all he did to you, love. There's nobody who's going to do anything to me more than what they did to Jesus. Remind yourself that. And your ministry is built on it. Though I have the tongues of angels and of all manner of people, and I can turn water to wine, and I have no love, then I am of the sounding cymbal. I am this, I am that. Love. Love the brethren. Love them. You know, I tell couples, God didn't tell you to correct your wife. He said you should love her. Many families break apart because of trying to correct one another. He didn't tell you to correct. He said love her. You already know the person is not good. He said love her. He already knows. Say love her. And you know, you don't know how that settled issues. When we turn away from trying to correct her, most people will spend the early part of their years in marriage trying to correct, Mr. Perfection is the worst. No, love her. Love is asset and liability together. Love her. And then suddenly, the things you used to quarrel about are falling away by themselves without too much effort. Love. Love. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Love. Please don't be tired. Don't give up on the person and don't close the door against the person. That person might be a national evangelist and will be preaching about the love you showed. Do you understand that? That person may be a national evangelist using you as a testimony every day. Don't miss the opportunity. But remember, I said it's painful. I didn't tell you it's easy. Just said it's painful. But that's what you owe Jesus. Because people like us are unlovable. But he did. Counsel, advice, If need be, talk to somebody to talk to. All that you can do, but keep your heart. Till I go to my grave, I'm not going to have one enemy. It's a waste of time. No. That's not. Love is more than a dynamite. And that's why you have to take care of yourself. You that is the choir director. Take care of yourself. Physically, spiritually, emotionally, and in every context. Take care of yourself. Because the moment you lose guard, anything can happen. Some events are not planned, but it happened because it was an unguided hour. And certain things will just come on your way. Keep the work going. Somebody called you to do that work, right? It's not this person. Is it this person? I know I'm saying what I'm saying. Keep your eyes on the assignment. How many of you would like to tell God, let's assume that it is the judgment day, the way we used to conceive it. And then God asks you, I send you to Open International Church to be the choir director. And you left the place. Then you scratch your head. Is it not because I was telling Thompson not to, every time Thompson likes looking for my, that's why I left. Would it, is that an excuse? You think it would be like, I mean, when you say it, God will jump at you. Oh, wonderful, my son. Please, keep your eyes on the task. You have not lost the support of your pastor. You have not lost the support of the church leadership. Then one person should not make you. But me, you know, the way I said it to that woman then, I told her, I said, I will be here in this church and I will see who has 12 horns to come and push me out. The news went around like wildfire. Yeah. And I was still there, she left. You need to be determined about certain things. Even the devil sometimes expects you to be serious. Even the devil sometimes expects you to show your seriousness. So he pinches you. Oh, you don't understand what I'm saying? He pinches you. He came to Jesus and told him, look, you are hungry now. And there are stones here. Why don't you just make some bread? I mean, it's within your power to do so. He expected Jesus to either succumb or show him that he was serious with his mission. That's all. All right, let's take a few more questions here and then we can shut down. No, I didn't go back there.
Question.
You can write it down so you don't forget yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. There was a question I wanted to ask yesterday, so let me ask you. The church I was, like I said, I brought some music materials to educate and enlighten them. Surprisingly, sir, my uniform is top. You need more. She knows so and well. That place bend like this. This person no get red. She used green thread. You supposed to use red. It didn't tire me, and that was when these people, I'm not going to do anything again. One of my major issue again. See this program now. I keep inviting people, like I explained. I came from choir practice. Then this place come for training, mental improvement. They look it, they look at that, they want to see. Anyway, the first question is, what should be son of man?
What is the attitude of your pastor towards human capital development? What is the attitude of your pastor towards human capital development? This question I ask you, repeat the question until you ask your pastor. What is your perspective on human capital development? The reason is because if you go to a church where the pastor is always reading and talking and quoting from books, people will read in that church. If you go to a church Every church is a product of its pastor. I went to Area 11, Gariki. I had a workshop. We invited choirs, and something I always say, invited choirs. Very few people came for the training workshop, and they told me that those choirs that I did not see here, that they are preparing for the concert, which is Sunday evening. That Sunday evening, this place will be full. In other words, this environment like concerts. Sunday evening, this place will be full. And just like I said during my wedding, I just turned and said, they'll be disappointed on Sunday. I just made that statement. And yours truly, on Sunday, bosses were bringing choirs. They came to the meeting. When the worship started, all of them were thrown apart. When I invite a choir to come and sing, they'll tell me they actually prepared a song they wanted to sing. But they will continue with the worship. Have you seen a worship that, people had things they want to do, but they have abandoned it? The first choir, the second choir, the third choir. When we finished, the Bishop Ayado was on the balcony, came down and said, he just came down. He was a bishop of the church. He came down and said, how many Church of God mission branches are here? And they were very few. Then he told the national music director, he said, you're going to send a message to all the music directors and the choirs on poison. They are coming here on Friday night. He made me to stay Friday night. He was the one carrying the tapes and given to each choir by himself. Spent 10, 15 minutes there at the balcony. When you go to Winners, the people love to read. They buy books. A good number of them will do that because their pastor, their bishop, is a reading and writing bishop. There's a culture in that environment. So that's why I ask you the question. What is the attitude of your pastor towards human capital development? For me, it's training. Please, if you can turn to Genesis 14 and let's read it. Genesis 14. Just since we started, I've not read Bible. Yes. Am I not a pastor? Okay, I have been speaking the Bible. Okay, thank you for forgiving me. Genesis 14. What did it say? When Abraham heard, yes, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued. This is my principle. This is why I'm buried into training. Corporate organizations conduct trainings upon trainings upon trainings. Most organizations, every Monday or Friday, you will see all staff sitting down to be motivated, to be challenged, new benchmark, this, that, so that the organization can thrive. If we don't train our people, we shouldn't expect so much of them. This is simple truth. If we don't train them, for Paul to excel, he was not part of the team of Jesus. He was not. But he went to Arabia for 3 years to be schooled. So he became the most outstanding of all the apostles. I mean, in our own terms, if we are the ones judging, nobody wrote as much as he did. And nobody gave orders to the church. Paul will write and tell you, I speak this by permission. He said, I'm saying this, not the spirit. He said, if this one happened, like Paul gave orders that the rest of the apostles in their writing could not give. What are you talking about? If you don't train your choir, this thing you are doing here today may not make sense. But when it will pay you off, you won't even know it. Training is the only way to get a people. transformed by the renewing of your mind. How do you get people's mind renewed except by very rigorous spiritual joggings and trainings? That's it. Any church that is doing well, check how the pastor considers the matter of workers training. Workers training. In some churches, it's almost weekly workers training, because the pastor knows that that's the only way he can mobilize his forces to achieve result. It's not done by the pastor alone, but serious pastors take these things very seriously. There are pastors that will not give baptism cards to anybody. They want to handle it by themselves because they know the quality of product that they want to raise from that place to join their workforce. So it may be a culture in that environment. I was with Ibiomie's wife some years ago in Yenagua, and we ministered in the same program that she was invited to. And I had her say something I will never forget. That when the ministry started, there were these women who come with all manner of gorgeous dressings. Like they came for dressing competition. And if you have seen Papa Ibiomie's wife, low cut, you can pass her on the road. Unless you know her one-on-one, you can literally walk past her on the road. He said, but after some time, when they realized that the competition is not working, the girls disappeared. You know those ones that are like Vala, that when they sit in front of you and behaving rappers. He said everything, she just watched. Because, of course, the gossip gets to her. You know, the thing will get to her, the talkings among the women. But when they looked and discovered that this woman is not even interested, everything disappeared by itself. Is there anybody from Salvation Ministry? Yes. I don't know how long you have been there. When was the last time Mama dressed so with heavy gillies and all that? It is Mother's Day. Dresses, simple gown, that's what she wears. Most of the time, dresses, skirt and blouse, simple gowns, that's what she wears. It's a culture. So certain things happen because there is a culture, a cultural precedence in that environment. It may not even be the present pastor. It may have been another pastor who was there. You know, when some pastors are posted to some churches, they struggle. They struggle a lot because the pastor that was before them did not get certain things right. So they have to struggle to reboot. Then you hear people cranking here and there. As if this man knows too much because they were used to the other person. That's the way it is. Let me take you as a man of prayer, and put you as a pastor in a church where the other pastor was not so. You start having complaints. We're not going to rest. That's what we're going to hear. Even in your normal offices, it happened. You go to some offices to work, they transfer you to another department. You go to that department, people do things anyhow. Because maybe the first person there didn't really pay much attention to such things, didn't care. So it's normal. Patience. This man has to go to Ikoku, oil mill, Creek Road Market, and buy patience. Buy a pack of patience, and then come back and tell himself that his presence here will not be in vain. And you have to make impact, because even while you are getting angry in that conversation, there are one or two persons who are still contemplating over what you are saying. So keep walking the walk. At this point, don't tell them to buy anything. That page you want them to go through, photocopy it, give it to them. You pick some after the meeting, you pick them for, on the floor, but don't get angry with that. That's why if you come to my house, you see plenty of photocopy things. That's how it works. But in the end, I always win. By the grace of God, I will always win. Yeah, because we are consistent. Heaven has a way of giving you support that you cannot imagine. 2 more questions and we are done. This lady has not asked question. Did you ask question yesterday? Okay, ask question today. That's bonus.
My I have an issue passing in particular, but I will do a life like you were talking about new marriage, love and love. So should I take that to mean that love my children? They are the ones who love me. Just
You have your
love them back.
you have always loved. So God didn't give you the assignment of love because He loved. But He asked you to submit.
But that was okay, sir. You talked about love. Are you saying that for us, there is no option of I need to shut down, no, shut out
Some
for
people.
my mental health? And I'm happy you said it's painful because my father is the man of Jesus said, as much as it's possible, live at peace with all men.
That's right.
And you and your church, you hear the same thing. In fact, they are more spiritual than you. But when it comes to practice, you are the one that's going to be practicing for them.
It's like the person you're talking about is a prayer warrior.
But when it comes to just practice these things that you act like you cannot.
Yeah.
So why do I always have to be the one to keep practicing? I have to love you.
Because you are the light of the world and you cannot turn to darkness. It doesn't work that way, madam. That's why I told you. What is your own content? You are judging him from activity. What is the content?
So it is content gets to me. I should remember that that is not my.
That is not your content.
So all this mental health does not apply to us. As it's you just.
That's not what I mean. I think I'm talking to matured people. Sit down, ma. Let's see if we can balance that up. If this brother is acidic, I'll put him in the ground floor of my ark, not on the top floor. Why did Noah have 3 compartments? So that those violent beasts stay down. Wisdom is profitable to direct, is it not? Those violent beasts, they should stay down. The ones that are a little more friendly should come up. Then the doves, the gentle doves, they can stay with him at the top. Have I said something you can understand? Yeah. I didn't say that you should heal yourself in trying to accommodate somebody. There's no wisdom there. But I'm saying that even while I have shut him down, I owe him prayers that God will open. Ephesians chapter 1, verse Ephesians chapter 1, verse 10 or verse 15. Somebody give me the clue. We'll see what it is. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 15. What did he say? For this cause, since I heard of your faith in the Lord Jesus, I cease not to give thanks unto the Lord, making mention of you in my prayers, that making unto you the spirit of wisdom and revelation in the knowledge of him, the eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that you may know what is the hope of his calling, and what is the exceeding riches of his inheritance. So this is Paul praying. So while you take all the precautions, don't let your precaution turn to be an acid in you by forming negative attitude. I hope I'm speaking something you can understand. This guy is acidic, he's dangerous. I'm putting him in the ground floor. But in doing that, I'm not doing that with hatred. Should he come up to his senses, he will still be my best of friend. You understand that? Yes. Yes, yes.
I think
Luta.
input that
Yeah,
into other people. The director, so looking at those things. But these people, they're also very effective. Like they get first, that will come that they're very punctual. When when you say take this thing, like maybe praise and worship,
they will
are
do
doing-
it.
they're not
They will
doing
do it.
In fact, sometimes when they are doing it, like where is this thing coming from? Somebody that you'll be able to be doubting, is this thing really Holy Spirit? Somebody that is just abusing, this thing that will not carry by and be thinking praise. And you are like,
Okay, pause.
okay, but now the impact on choir,
The choir.
like
Yes.
you don't want get it to people want to come to the physical choir, but they are not ready.
That's why you have a choir pastor, or that's why you bring such matters at that level to your pastor to look into the matter and then get a solution. You know, in life, how many of you love garden egg? Oh, you love it. You just bought beautiful garden eggs looking so fine. And then you just bite it and there's maggot inside. All right? So, and you can't do away with it. Guava, the same thing. So, in life, once in a while, there will be one. Do you understand? But if the matter goes beyond you and is beginning to negatively impact on the team, then take it to the pastor and let him prefer a solution to it. All right, the last question was to come from. Was it you or her? Was it you? Now people are confusing me. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Praise the Lord. My question is, over the years, I have found out that for me personally, I believe a lot in as much as the results is important. People are way more
Important.
than. But what happens when you find out that you're working with someone, under someone who is just bent or focused on the results, doesn't care about it. And then the person puts it straight to you that this is what I want. What do you talk about?
That you are the chorister, you are not the music director.
You are
No, the pastor even the pastor.
case where you're a pastor and you're the music director, or the case where the music director and you're the chorister, where you find out that the person is all out with just the result.
Military, the person is a military leader. Attention. Forward march. Standard high. He doesn't care whether cockroach or ant is biting you. This is a military leader. So we bracket them very well. Thank you, sir. Well, when it gets to the extreme, this one, when it gets to the extreme, this is what I always say. The pastor is the owner of the church, in quote. He's the captain, he's in charge. If at any point gets to your neck and you have exhausted all your solutions, quietly, peacefully, without talking to the next chorister, take your leave so that you don't become a problem to the pastor, or the pastor wants to curse you. All those, I can't stop referring to that because when I listen to some people, I don't know whether they are, my mouth shut up. But again, I said, buy books for your pastor, buy tapes for your pastor, buy whoever that leader is, find a way to bring information to him because information reforms people. If the person doesn't have information the way you have it, and is not seeing it the way you are seeing it, please give him information. Genesis chapter 1. And there was no rain because there was no man to till the soil. In that one single verse, God places the man as the priority above every other thing. Employers do it. They are paying you salary, so they don't care you get the job done. You only to get it done. They are all over the place. They're everywhere. And some of these pastors, they worked in those settings and we are raised like that. The mistake, they became pastors. And the attitude has not changed. But remind yourself that Jesus was the people man. He was consigned with the people. He will enter a house where they used to take care of them and hear that Peter's mother-in-law was sick. He went first to raise her up, to heal her before asking for food. Prioritize the people. People are your greatest asset. Prioritize people. Everywhere you go, prioritize people. If the people are well taken care of, the result will come. But if you are an Indian amongst us, and you can lock a whole factory and lock workers in, that when there is fire accident, all of them should die there. May the Lord be with you. Prioritize the people. That's why when I walk into my school, teachers, high five. What have you? What's happening here? How are you doing? I'm in touch with virtually everybody, and that's how I work with them. Students, the same thing. I'm in touch with them, so they can crowd me like they will climb me like ant. Okay, and that's what my guy doesn't understand. That it is that thing that is making them to be more enthusiastic with whatever I ask them to do. Because I'm with them. I feel I feel their pains. I can understand their challenges. Sit down with them, talk with them, prioritize the people. And anybody who doesn't do that is a taskmaster. A taskmaster. You want the work to be done. You want the work to be done. When all these people are no longer there, you will employ another set. Is it not? And it's a painful thing to work under such people. You are dying. And like one woman said, they say, Pastor is very sick. They say, even if he's to lay hands on, let the pastor come and pray for her first. Those people, those kind of mindsets, they don't make for good relationships. And people who endure in such places endure for the money. Once they have opportunity and they move, they will never consider you to be a part of their life story. But the people are more important. And I like to close by saying that because people are important, you were born into the hands of people. And you remember what I said? The day you die, some 4, 5, 6 people will bear your casket and lay it down. You cannot close your grave by yourself, or else animals will eat you up. You cannot close your grave by yourself. They wonder at me. It doesn't take me 20 minutes to make everybody my friend in a place. I walk into supermarket with students. Walked into everyday supermarket. Is it that one at Umigbo Junction? And it was the Children's Day, this last Children's Day. They got more than they expected. And it was because of what I was doing with them. Just walk up straight to the. And then they greeted me and said, Happy Children's Day. I said, oh, so you are happy about it. I have brought the children for you. Oh yeah, attend to them. In 5 minutes, I was chatting with everybody. I was chatting up everybody, and the children had liberty in the place. And by the time we are leaving, their bags were full. See, don't let your iron face kill you. 47 muscles is what you are employing to frown. You see how expensive that is? When it will take only 7 facial muscles to smile. Don't you see the value you added to yourself by smiling? No matter how ugly a person is, a smile makes a big difference. So in certain marketing companies, you are even taught smile. You are taught how to smile. Please, wherever you live, prioritize the people in your compound. Make everybody feel at home with you. Your brother is a millionaire, is in London. The day something happens to you in the night, it is those neighbors that will come and take you to the hospital. So never have. I didn't say you will please everybody. That's not what I said. But even the one that doesn't use to smile, with your open heart, give him a good greeting. You can never tell who he will become and may become in the hour of need. I beg to, I want to say that with this few points of mine, I hope that I have successfully convinced. So please permit me to.
Praise the Lord. We are going to add Daddy, if you don't mind, we'll add you to the WhatsApp group so that if you still have some questions, please sit down. Okay, no, before you sit, let's pray for him. So if you still have some questions, you can, ask him. And if you're not in that CHOIR101 WhatsApp group, please meet Nedu. You're an admin in that group. Meet him to add you to the group. Please, let's pray for our man of God. I'm not going to give you a prayer point. Just pray for him. If he has blessed you these past 2 days, just pray for him. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Please sit down very briefly. I would like someone to please help do like a vote of thanks to him. Please, who want to volunteer? Someone that was here yesterday and today to just portray our thanks. Anthony. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. This is my first time of meeting you, although I've been hearing about you in Port Harcourt and the rest. Can everybody hear me? Okay, this is my first time meeting Daddy, and like this first encounter has been awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a lot.